we have in this fall tournament. Fill up while you can, and we are already off and ready to go. It is a normal standard mode race, but the wrinkles we have are super interesting, aren't they?
I mean, it's just your typical old dungeon swordless retro. There's nothing weird here.
No, nothing weird whatsoever. I mean, swordless is always interesting, and then retro in with swordless, it really makes it, it just puts an extra wrinkle in there because, especially with retro, you don't have arrows, you just have rupees that you're firing, you know, so if the bow is your weapon, you kind of have some work to do.
Well, we're gonna start off with that hammer, and this is the item, the weapon for any swordless seed, because it's gonna substitute a lot of the sword usage in fights like Ganon and Aghanim coming up.
Absolutely. That hammer, Ganon and Aghanim are damaged by that hammer. It's also the item that you are required to use if you ever need to use a medallion, for example, in order to logically get past some rooms in Ice Palace and also to open up the gates in Turtle Rock and Misery Mire. So getting that hammer early is really, really interesting.
I mean, I think our players are very happy to see that as their starting weapon. And of course, at least from my perspective, we've had so many seeds for myths to access Dark Walls. Seeing that hammer means that they are likely going to have to avoid that.
Well, they'll be lucky to avoid it. Already on their way, working their way through the escape sequence. Again, because this is standard mode, we do have to go through the escape sequence. But with the hammer, it's really the best weapon you could possibly hope to get at this point in time. So they're working their way through here very nice. They also were blessed with blue mail, so already kind of very well protected, very well armed. This is probably a pretty friendly seed, all things said, right now.
I mean, they already got that one bomb for the skewers. Also, getting some rupees here, both of them. You would want some more, of course, but at this point, they're likely pretty happy with what the seed is giving them.
I was a little bit surprised to see Leyra turn down that 20 rupees that was lying on the floor. Remember, with retro mode, rupees are not only your arrows, but I mean, everything costs rupees. Logically, all the dungeons, your keys are shared amongst all the dungeons. So, and you can buy small keys from a few different shops for 100 rupees each. So logically, because rupees can become keys, we logically have access to quote unquote all the keys as we're getting through the entire game. So you're expected to have to buy some keys, which means rupees are just exponentially more valuable. Money management is kind of a new wrinkle in this retro mode.
Absolutely, and since this is an old dungeon seed, they need to get a lot of keys, since they have to get all the crystals, they have to get all the planets, they have to do Ganon's Tower, and of course they have to do Aga 1 as well. There's 2 keys there too.
Absolutely. I mean, think about, you know, how much money it actually costs to go into a place like Palace of Darkness, where up to 6 doors need to be unlocked. That's 600 rupees. But then you turn around and you're like, yeah, but how many treasure chests are in there? Because all of the treasures that normally have keys are replaced in these dungeons. So it could be very profitable. You really just have to manage your money and think of keys as rupees and try not to waste any arrows, because that would be horrible.
Also see both of them getting a 4 bomb drop from a guard. They are perfectly set for most likely an early Kakariko, but this is retro after all, and something that is a little bit more common here is an early Hoolihan.
I have seen, I think, 1 or 2 people ever do retro mode without doing Hoolihan almost immediately. It's 225 rupees. It's just a great idea to start off with, just to give you at least a little bit of consistency. I'd be really surprised if these runners didn't do it. But, you know, if you're happy with your rupee count as you're getting out of escape, you might opt to miss it. No 300 rupee drops so far, so I don't know if anyone would go out of their way against it, but we shall see.
Yeah, so far just a couple of 20s, some 5ers. It's fine for this early on. It also depends on when they can find a shop to actually buy the keys, though.
Absolutely. Not every shop has the keys, so you have to kind of take that into consideration as you're going through here. There's our key rat. Now, all the keys that are on enemies and are under pots and skulls will still be there. It's just all the keys that are in treasure chest will be replaced and into the general item pool. In normal mode, there are a handful of keys that have been removed just to force you to buy some keys sometimes. Let's see, JTB finds us another key, some rupees, and the red meringue.
You're gonna be able to use that to check the stun price coming up, but apart from that, nothing really interesting here in the escape.
Yeah, nothing that unlocks anything logically at this point in time. The hammer is still nice. Having a consistent weapon is just golden, especially in swordless. But we'll see what we end up getting. I got to imagine we're going to be doing some hula hand strats. Yeah, there's another 5er. Oh, JTB did a save and quit.
What does he have in mind here?
I don't know. This is interesting. He's looking like he's going south here. And 2 pendants, green and blue, are in the light world, plus the 4 crystal. Lyra's also not doing hula hand, opting to go another direction. This is gutsy plays from both of them.
Yeah, and neither player is going to collect the rupees, and JTB said doing something that saw a little bit of it in spring, like delaying Kakariko because you're hoping to get bottle boots or things like that, so you can really check everything. It's still not all that common to see, though.
Okay, so people ask a question in chat, and it's, you know...
Wait. Ooh. Yeah, that Moon Pearl is a little bit more important.
Yeah, Moon Pearl's definitely important to talk about. On Aga's tower, we knew we would have to do Aghanim anyway, but seeing that Moon Pearl in the tower, that Leyra has that knowledge, JTB does not. That's super interesting.
Of course, this also means early boots, and that's going to make our players very happy.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so Leyra ended up picking up another 50 rupees that are just kind of lying on the ground. You know, if you ever see 50 bucks lying on the ground, I think we would all pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Meanwhile, JTB having some issues here with the Moldorms, as they are Moldorms and the hammer hitbox is a little bit iffy.
All right, and Mini Moldorm, 20 heart piece, heart container, another heart piece, and 10 bombs. So not really a ton there.
Yeah, not really. I mean, you're not gonna say no to getting just a full bomb fill up there, but you are hoping for something more. That's why you're doing this route, and because this is retro, fake flippering to Sora isn't really something you want to do, because that's 500 rupees that you may want to spend on keys or buying the arrows later on.
Absolutely. It's just something to be avoided if you possibly can. So JTB is going to show us Ice Rod Cave. Meanwhile, Leyra is going to be down here in Blind's Basement. Hearts, bombs, rupees, and heart piece. So far, I mean, Kakariko has not really had a whole lot of goodies yet either. A key there for JTB.
Yeah, we're still waiting for something, really, at this point. But maybe JTB is deciding now to just go full on this and head right. No, it's heading left.
All right, so Leyra's getting ready to come down here and do the other kind of stacked location in Kakariko in the well. So another 20 rupees. JTB looks to be farming bombs, or at least was going to there, but ran through. More bombs for Leyra.
Well, we knew that the lamp was going to be available early because of this Saga one, and that's just the clear proof right there.
Yeah, we have logical access to do Aga 1 right now. With the lamp and the hammer. That's all we needed. The hammer can actually get us through that electrical fence that blocks. So that is super interesting right there. We're just really needing the boots before we have logical access to that Moon Pearl where we need to defeat Aghanim.
And by logic, the boots could just as well be on the pyramid.
Yeah, I mean, that could very well be. Meanwhile, they are kind of running over each other's steps at this point. JTB is going to clear out Kakariko. Lyra is going to head out south. Now's a good time to talk about that Houlihan room. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. Hair.
Hair is annoying, I know.
So with Houlihan, back before this game was announced, Nintendo Power had a contest that says, hey, if you win this contest, we will put your name in a video game. And the winner of this contest was a gentleman, a young man named Chris Houlihan. So what they did in Legend of Zelda Link to the Past is had kind of an overflow room where if you ever fell down through a hole and the game didn't know where to put you, it would spawn you into this room with 225 rupees, so blue rupees, with the tile that said, hi, I'm Chris Houlihan and this is my room. Now, there's ways that we can kind of set up to get to that Houlihan room, and once you leave it, you're like right at Link's house. It's really kind of an interesting little piece of trivia that Chris Houlihan is still out there and is probably more famous now than he ever was when the original game came out.
And that's just a piece of video game history brought to you live by Vitasia.
Yes, I'm old.
And we're going to talk a little bit about why JTB is taking this Link's house route to Kakariko. It's usually because if you find your Dark World access here, you can just go straight into the Dark World. It's faster than going the Sanctuary path. Or if you just find gloves, you can easily go up to Death Mountain after checking Lumberjack.
Absolutely. It's a gamble. If things pay off, it really, really helps out with the routing. If it doesn't, though, it kind of looks a little bit wonky and makes it a lot of people question what's going on. We know what you're doing, JTB. It's just not going to work out for you this time, unfortunately.
It's not that big of a time loss, and if you are lacking in rupee and bombs and things like that, then you may just be better off trying to farm the bombs down the south of Grove for the 50/50s there. Didn't have to do it this time, so this is most likely just hoping to get gloves or Dark World access.
It'll be interesting if JTB goes up and checks the Lumberjack ledge. That is a key piece of information that Lyra ended up getting. Knowing the Moon Pearl is there, it's like, well, we're going to have to do Aga anyway, and knowing that we have to go that way relatively soon, I imagine Lyra is going to be the first one there into Aga.
I mean, the only other place that has been unlocked is one location in Eastern, thanks to the lamp.
One, possibly two, if that's where the big key is. But, yeah.
You mean, well, it's still one item in addition to the big key if it's there.
Yeah.
And you're not really going to want to go into a dungeon in the first place if you can't clear it in all dungeons.
Meanwhile, JTB looks like already heading up there. Says, okay, Aga, clearly I'm supposed to be doing you. And he does have logical access, so he's biting the bullet early. No boots yet, so even though we know where the Moon Pearl is, no access to it. It could be in these two treasure chests on your way up Aghanim's Tower. Remember, because all the small keys are replaced, we do need 2 small keys to get through the dungeon, but those 2 small key treasure chests could actually be logical progression.
Absolutely, since the keys are shuffled around, it's a little bit like key sanity in that regard, that the progression may just as well be here as well. But we're going to see Leyra head on over to this Sahasrara eastern area first.
Question in chat. JTB checked Lumberjack. I'm pretty sure he didn't. I don't think he knows, but he has the lamp, he has the hammer, and it is all dungeons, so he would have to complete this at some point anyway. It's not a huge gamble once you have logical access to say, yeah, Okay.
Oh. Sorry about that, but Leyra has found the boots.
Absolutely. That makes things a little bit faster for Lyra. Looks like going to go ahead and do Eastern Palace. That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, no bow, so it's a little bit of a risk. But you know, if you have to double dip any dungeon, Eastern is probably the most logical to have to double dip.
Yeah, it's still a little bit iffy, especially since you got the boots. It unlocks the Bone Crocs as well. We know where the Moon Pearl is, so... And maybe it's just that Leyra has this standard set defined early game route, and he's just, I'm always gonna do this, regardless of what.
Alright, bombs. Just walk away. That is joke hint tile. Remember, version 30 does have the telepathy tiles. Sometimes gives you a hint. I mean, it's supposed to be worthwhile, except for when it's in that green text and it's just a joke.
It's always worth when it isn't. Except when it isn't. I can't even do sentences today. What in the world? Maybe my sentences are randomized, just like Leyra opening the map there.
And another key. So here we're going to see our first, evidence of swordless mode here. The curtain behind Ganon will already be cut, and he can be damaged by the hammer. So this will be kind of an interesting fight for a swordless seed. This is how it's done, though.
Of course it is, and I guess it's time to guess the blue balls or something. I mean, I'd like to see a 0, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 0 blue balls. It could be, up to a lot. We shall see. And reflecting, there's one. Some cash is in the Palace of Darkness. Thanks, game.
Yeah, it's not a very useful hint at all, and so far, so nothing in Eastern. Now, Hammer is a little bit trickier here on Ganon because the hitbox, as stated, is a little bit wonky.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with the timing. You can't just spin and call it good. 2 blue balls so far for JTB. Keep in mind, 3 blue balls. They will face identical AGA fights. So they, just because someone gets, 3 blue balls up to this point for JTB, that means Lyra is going to get the same blue ball count unless there's a missed hit at some point in time.
Yes, the RNG is set for the seed, so both players will experience the same in this world of fairness in terms of randomness.
And Lyra finds nothing as JTB finishes up and is in bunny mode.
Yeah, I don't know what sprite that is, but that's just a shield on top of the pyramid, so yeah, kinda need those boots from Sahasrahla. Well, so boots also unlock the gloves. Gloves, hammer, moon pearl. Well, ain't that fantastic? You get the complete Dark World access the second you get the boots.
That's super interesting, knowing that was kind of our logical requirement. And no, Lyra is going to continue following as not doing AGA. I would not have guessed that Lyra would be the one to avoid AGA as long as possible, because they know exactly where that Moon Pearl is and know that they are going to have to do it eventually. JTB, in the meantime, has already defeated AGA. We'll get the boots, and we'll have that Moon Pearl access, right away.
Yeah, but maybe JTB is going to skip out on Bone Crocs here. Does have that... Well, actually, never mind. Bone Crocs are right on the way. They're definitely going to pick them up.
Yeah, after the save and quit, you go to Sanctuary, and it's like picking up Bonk Rocks on your way. You don't even expect to find anything there, and oh, you're happy that it is.
Yeah, just free pair of gloves. Why not? Then at that point, as we see our first bottle there, or possibly the first bottle on top of Spectacle Rock, may just decide to make the save and quit after Lumberjack can do the standard, I call it, Dark World opening, which is to start in Hype Cave.
Most likely, yep. Here's another piece of heart. And some caches with Magic Bat. That's actually interesting, because Magic Bat, if you don't have everything, can be kind of an out-of-the-way location to grab at some point. So Lyra getting that hint actually tells us quite a bit there.
And also, no need to have to save the mushroom for potential fake powder, just deliver that in. You don't have to worry about routing in the bath at any point in time. JTB is actually continuing here into not save and quit.
Now we'll see where JTB... Oh, he might end up being... He's going to go through the Village of Outcast portal, actually, is what it looks like. Meanwhile, Lyra is going up Agus Tower, says, okay, I guess we can go ahead and go get our Moon Pearl now.
Yeah, this is rather interesting for JTB, because I at least feel like the standard has become doing Hype Cave first, but presumably you feel you're already here, you have a fast boost to get there. Maybe it's a circumstance of personal preference or a way of reading the seed, perhaps.
Well, going to the general area where there are dungeons that you know you can do. We know that Thieves Town will be able to go ahead and complete. It's all dungeons, so once you have logical access, go ahead and take the dive and do Thieves Town. Since you're in the area, you can open up a ton of treasure chests at that point in time. You even have one key to be able to unlock the door that you need to. The crystals and pendant counts are interesting as to what we might find logically, except for the fact that it's an all dungeon seed, so we're gonna have to go everywhere anyway.
Now we did see the 5-6 crystals there in Ice and Mire, with the final pendant look to be Skullwoods. Perhaps I'm getting information wrong here, but we'll get back to that anyway. The only thing that really matters for these dungeons is, does Sahasrara have something from the green pendant? Is there something on the pedestal? And does the Pyramid Fairy have something?
Red mail already. We're at sub 30 minutes and we have red mail. JTB does not want to spend a key, has one key to be able to get through, but going to the south route where this is a guaranteed key, it's the only location that is a guaranteed key in a treasure chest, just to prevent any sort of soft lock sequences. Wants to save that last key. That tells me that he's probably going to be going into Thieves Town next.
You will need one key there. And of course you can pick up another key for free, so you'll be able to check everything. Now this red mail really helps their defense here at this point. Even JTB here with just 7 hearts, significantly healthier.
Oh, absolutely. You're not intended to have red mail until you're at Ganon's tower, so it's like things just blink and you're fine right at the moment.
And we see JTB here putting the boomerang to good use against the Gibdos, since it is possible to stun the Gibdos using the boomerang, but not the hookshot.
Meanwhile, Lyra is starting the 3 blue ball Aga fight, and oh, that's fun.
Well, the Flippers and Skullwoods, they most certainly are required this seed. What does it do for us right now?
Right now, it gives us access to the Flipper Lock locations, Hobo, and the Waterfall Fairy locations. Doesn't really give us much access to anything else, although it's part of the keys, pieces to the puzzle. For those people who are keeping track of possible access to what's on the pedestal, it's worth noting that Flippers couldn't have been there because we need that logically to get to Ice Palace. So that's one more item that's off the table that might be pointing us in that direction, although we have a long way to go there.
We see 20 rupees there up on Bumper Cave, so cape may not be needed this seed. Logically, there's things like laser bridge and the likes, but people tend to skip that. That's the bunny sprite.
Is that a chocobo? A chicken or
something like that? I don't know. It's cute, and that's the only thing that matters.
You're not wrong. Oh yeah, it's got to be a chocobo because cactar. Okay.
JTB, continuing Village of Outcasts, picks up yet another key. Leyra will be picking up the Moon Pearl shortly. Now, they haven't really checked a lot of these take any, give any locations.
No, they haven't. And retro mode, that's kind of one of the nice things. Now, there are, in the take any locations in retro mode, just like in Legend of Zelda, the first one, there are 4 rooms that you can choose to have either another heart container or a blue potion refill. And one of the locations will give you a sword upgrade. It's dangerous to go lone. Take this. The issue with swordless is that room doesn't exist because we have no swords. I'm not sure if it still exists and it will give you just the 20 rupees that all the swords are replaced with in the item pool. But it's interesting that neither runner have really been checking the extra locations for these take any locations. Hearts and blue potions are not really that concerning, I guess, for these guys.
Yeah, they haven't checked that, and they haven't checked any key shop locations either. At this point, there haven't really been a need for them, and in terms of health replenishment, they have red mail already. Or Leyra may just go into Scout Woods and get the red mail right now.
Leyra taking a nice long look at those items. JTB tried to get the dash there in the Hellway, but did not quite get there. But working his way very nicely here through Thieves Town.
And this hints here, a unique item by someone friendly? That's a lot of people.
It doesn't really narrow that down much, does it? Sports Hefe asked, do we even have an arrow purchase? No, we haven't checked any shops. We don't. It's like these guys don't care.
I mean, that friendly may just have been the hammer from Uncle, but it could also be like Blacksmith, Catfish, Sick Kid, Stumpy, Sahasrara.
Is the Catfish really friendly, though? Really?
According to my notes, Catfish is in fact friendly. If my notes are wrong, they may be wrong.
The bomb he throws at you tells me otherwise, but that's logic for you.
I mean, they may not appear to be friendly, but maybe they are still friendly. They just have a different way of showing it. You know, the bomb is an explosion. He thinks it's your birthday.
That's what it is. He's like, it's your birthday. Here's a bomb. I just didn't know that it's lit as soon as it comes out of the water.
Regardless of what, we will have to wait and find out if that was just simply the hammer from Uncle or if it actually was something else. We know it's not the magic bat, though. We also know it's not the old man, and we also know that the myths are in Thieves Town.
French vanilla mitts right next door to where they normally are. That's nice to know.
And now they're sitting on Myths, Hammer, and Moon Pearl. I mean, there's a lot of things in the Dark World that can be accessed, but without the mirror, it's a little bit tricky to check the Smith and the Purple Chest and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if this is actually what I would consider good. I mean, it's good news for us as watchers, knowing that we have the hammer and the mitts and the flippers and everything. I mean, this opens up so much logically in terms of what these runners can do. The problem is that it's not going to be very linear. We can see these two go into completely different and opposite directions here, and that's fine. That makes it an interesting race.
Yeah, we may end up having a lot of diversion here as we see JTB on this blind fight. Much harder to do without just a simple sword or King of Burn and the likes, and this fight has gone off script, so it could be a bit dangerous here in the final phase. He will take it down, and with that, will take his first crystal along with it.
So first crystal at 30 minutes in, that's not bad. I mean, we do have, so that's 2 dungeons. We can't necessarily count all just the crystals because it's an all dungeons requirement. They have to defeat all the dungeons before Ganon can even be damaged.
Yes, that is indeed the case. We're gonna see JTB here continuing here in the Dark World, Overworld, do the shovel game, and then see if gonna go and pick up the Smith or not. But I imagine he will, since he didn't go and check hammer pegs. We're seeing Darius dashing through Thieves' Town at this point in time. It is a really long dig.
Yeah, it is. Is this going to be max digs? Oh, but value.
I mean, that's required. You have to be Trinex. You really can't complain about that. But it's still a long way away from getting that Turtle Rock access to put an Ice Rod to use. Regardless of what, we will see JTB go back here and pick up the Smith's Son.
So here's something interesting that people who are not used to watching Swordless can see over here on JTB's side. Normally, when you have the boots, you can go ahead and just dash through these hammer pegs with the Japanese version of the game that the hack is based on. However, that hammer dash only works if you have a sword. Since we're swordless, we have to take the long, slow way.
But on the other hand, it also means that your opponent has to do it. JTB here most likely routing all the way down to Hype Cave and then pulling out the save and quit at that point to go and deliver? Question mark? The Smith's Son.
Jeremiah just wants to go home. He doesn't want to do this world tour, but, you know, we're going to do it. We're going to make him do it.
Yeah, if you're still going to go on and call the son Jeremiah, sure, be my guest. Meanwhile, Leyra did have a great blind fight there and will also get his first crystal there. I have to say, they have found a fair amount of items, but it still looks really empty.
Yeah, still not a ton of logical access to what we need. Hype Cave might be a key location for us, so let's see what does Hype Cave have for us. I mean, more money is always nice in retro, but otherwise it's more money, and more money, and more money, and...
a lot of money. That's just 130 rupees from 5 chests.
This is the Jerry Maguire cave today, guys. Show me the money.
Oh dear. It was just an average of 26 rupees per chest.
I mean, if you source material says that he wasn't actually that great of a wide receiver, so his money anyway.
I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'm just going to ignore you and look at JTB instead, checking the island and sees the bow. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that'll be something we'll need, so the sooner we have the mirror, the better. I mean, that's our, you know, really the key thing that spends a lot of rupees there is that bow.
Yeah, well, they will need the bow, of course. They can't get through Eastern Palace, they can't get through Palace of Darkness without picking up that bow. It's just a matter of where is the mirror that leads to it, as Leyra picks up the Ice Rod.
The hobo, in the meanwhile, gave us his life savings of 1 rupee.
Yes, that's why he's a hobo.
I mean,
JTB is really taking the sun for a tour today.
Oh, he's even going up. Oh, he's doing the Zora check, which is super risky, I suppose. But I mean, logically, something could be on Zora himself. Wow.
Yeah, the thing is that 500 rupees are important later on, as they haven't really cared all about that. They just felt like this is just your regular average, not retro seed, and just playing it like that. Except for the keys.
Except for the keys. I mean, we've managed to pick up enough keys along the way that we haven't had to buy keys. So it's been nice up to this point in time. We'll see what JTB ends up finding here at Zora. This is a real interesting gamble here, though.
I mean, 500 rupees for vanilla randomizer, I guess.
Zora scam. And that's why you'll see a lot of people in retro, because rupees are so important. I mean, he just gave up 5 keys. If you think about it that way, a lot of people in retro mode will do a save and quit before checking Zora in case he scams you, so you can save and quit out of there.
Well, Zora needs all those rupees for Zora business, you know. And the king was particularly poor today, only 5 rupees.
Yeah, JTB actually even avoided getting the key from the Zora ledge, which is super interesting. Leyra skipping that whole south route is going to get the King's Tomb, but we have ourselves a race right here.
I mean, this is really interesting at this point. They're all just dashing back to give the sun back to the father, and at this point the only true thing that separates them is JTB having those flippers from Skull Woods.
And it's interesting that the flippers up to this point in time has kind of led JTB on a bit of a wild goose chase going up there to the Zora area. Haven't really found anything. What does our Smiths give us this time? Another 20.
Well, you can do the purple chest if you want to spend all that time, but what other choices do you really have? Like Palace of Darkness, maybe?
Yeah, Palace of Darkness seems like a solid play. I mean, we can at least get through a large chunk of it. As soon as you find that mirror, you are noping out and going and grabbing that bow, though. JTB will be able to get it. Leyra does not know that bow is there, and wouldn't even be able to access it without those flippers.
That is indeed true. There is also our lovely friend Catfish that is in Logic, but there's such a long way to walk there for just one location.
I don't know if I'd be comfortable with Catfish, although it might be the only way. JTB, in the meanwhile, is going to go ahead and do Eastern Palace. Leyra already did it and knows that there's nothing here, so Lyra's gaining some extra time here on JTB.
Well, JTB will be able to do this marginally faster thanks to the boost. Also, Leyra, good knowledge there, knowing you can bonk that tree to get a fairy. You also have a Genius Cave that neither player has checked, but at this point, and you tend to just want to dig further and further into the logic, and because the Genius is so easily available in the early game, I don't know, it doesn't seem very likely that Agena has something.
Doesn't seem likely, but it is technically possible. I mean, at this point, that's, you know, one of those Sphere 1 locations that you're a couple spheres in. You can dig a little bit deeper into the rando a little bit, so you want to check some of these other locations. That's why Lyra's in Palace of Darkness now. Something that is easy to forget about is that monkey costs 110 rupees, so a little bit more than just a normal key that you have to spend to get here. Keep in mind, Pod is not bow locked at all, and the logic behind Pod is super interesting. Only 4 keys for Lyra. Has to be super careful how they spend their keys.
Indeed, and JTB may not even be able to make this call unless he's gonna find the 44 rupees that he's missing to get into Pod. At this point, they don't have the bows, so those 2 chests over on the right side cannot be accessed by the logic. But of course, the logic does imply that you always have all the keys that you will need, so just go for it.
Alright, so Lyra now coming up on the vanilla big key location, and that's where the big key is. So logically, we'll have access to the rest of the treasures aside from the bow locked portions. Just some bombs there. That is the nice thing about Palace of Darkness, because there's so many treasure chests. It does mean that there's just a ton of items that are here.
Well, purple chest is nothing, just some money, so good thing they skipped out on that. We're gonna see JTB here actually taking advantage of this rupee room in Eastern Palace. Very rarely used.
Yeah, not a ton of rupees here, but enough to get him at least into the door of Palace of Darkness, if that is indeed where he ends up going next. I'm having a hard time thinking of anything else, though.
Well, Palace of Darkness, Catfish, Aegina, and yeah. The options are very limited at this point.
Oh, JTB is actually going to show us that catfish check. Lyra, trying to get as many rupees as you can without sacrificing too much time. It is really easy to spend a lot of time in this rupee room because, again, a lot of rupees are here.
And so far, so nothing over in Palace of Darkness. And here's where Leyra has to make a call. Unless they're gonna go for the bomb jump into the dark room. Oh, well, that doesn't unlock anything right now, but you need it.
Yeah, I mean, that's knowing that was a 1 treasure chest for 1 key location, that oftentimes people do skip that because of just the minimal value that you could possibly have. But Lyra is setting up a hammer yump here. JTB showing his catfish is just a big 20.
So very specific setup here, both for the bomb and your character's position. Pixel perfect.
Gets it. Just a piece of heart, but these other 2 treasure chests are also in logic.
Yeah, well, we are running out of locations, and, well, the map is literally nothing, so we're down to the last one.
Ether Medallion. So, oh god. I mean, Lyra can go and get the flippers. So that'll send Lyra on a bit of a wild goose chase. JTB will have to do pod here, but is it possible that you were right and Aegina is actually our way to go?
I mean, I said it was likely Aegina didn't have something, but I think Aegina is the only location left to check right now.
I think you're right, and Lyra's looking like they're heading that direction as well.
I mean, I can't really think of any other location where they can go. I mean, they can get into Spy Cave, but it's not in logic, and there's no way they're getting through that room.
Absolutely not. Lyra going to show us Desert Ledge is just a piece of heart. So here it is, Aegina. Will it be something significant? This will be interesting.
The mirror here would be tremendous, giving them complete access over the entirety of Death Mountain and giving them the bow on the hilly island.
Well, Lyra still doesn't know about that bow, so that'll be interesting. And it's the mirror! Burn the witch!
Well, yet again, the entire world is open. How will Leyra route this? Full of choices, it's gonna start with Death Mountain. The bow at this point doesn't do anything since they hadn't found the shop for the wooden arrows. So that's the thing to bear in mind for that.
I mean, okay, that's our bottle. So, I mean, Sick Kid is unlocked. That's a first fetch quest there. Oh my god, there's so much that we have access to. Death Mountain is a solid play. We'll be able to get regular Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain, at least part of Hookshot Cave. Also, all of Tower of Hera here, although he has no keys. So if something is in the basement of Tower of Hera right now, Lyra will be kind of out of luck.
I mean, that just seems to be the way that both players play here, just completely disregarding checking anything that isn't in the regular standard mode, as to speak. Boots are, yeah, they know that. But it just seems like they aren't really playing retro.
No. I mean, they are using the keys and kind of following the key logic as best they can. But you're right. They are setting it up and playing the game, not checking any of the Take Any caves, not checking even a single shop to see where the keys are that they can buy. This and JTB not picking up the extra rupees that are in this room, which is the best place to farm rupees. JTB, what are you doing? Oh, okay. He heard me from here. 20 minutes in the past, he heard me.
That sounds impossible. And that Leyra 20 rupees there is one location where a sword was intended to be. That's one of the sword replacements.
Yeah, where it says 20 rupees instead of just a normal red rupee. Yep, that would have been a sword.
But of course, this is swordless, so no swords allowed. Leyra is going to make the trip towards our friendly neighborhood, Moldor. Sometimes not so friendly, but always our neighborhood.
Man, that's a rough neighborhood you live in.
I mean, Moldor is just a nice snake, as JTB nails that bomb jump fantastically well, and there is something in that basement. They have the map and the compass.
That worries me a little bit. I mean, I'm a completionist at heart, and I hate leaving a location, especially as out of the way as Tower of Hera basement. When you have logical access to it, you're just a key short. Oh, I hope that doesn't come back to haunt Lyra.
Well, we will only wait and see. JTB has one single key, doing some other checks at this point instead of picking up that mirror down in Aegina. These Deadorks being very annoying and just guarding the vision over 3 bombs. Hey, they got a hint for that, I think.
Meanwhile, JTB is also heading up the mountain at this point in time. Going to be following Lyra's kind of lead in a slightly better position, again, because of those flippers. I don't want to say the flippers are going to make the difference, but the flippers knowing where that bow is as well is significant for JTB. It hasn't really paid off anything yet. There's the Bombos medallion, but I gotta say that's going to make a difference here, if not soon, in the next half hour or so as we're moving through the seed.
The thing is, JTB doesn't have the mirror, so there isn't really a lot he can do up here.
Oh, true. He's hunting for the mirror. Huh.
Yeah, so this is a call that Leyra already made earlier to make up and do this, and, well, that's a good cave.
Hey, that's It's good info. Finally, someone's playing retro mode. They're buying keys.
Now, you do need to exit the shop every time you buy a key to go back in, so Leyra's gonna be here for a while.
Now, there is a glitch currently in retro mode, unfortunately, or fortunately. You can fire the bow without having to purchase the wooden arrows. The downside therein being that if you do get the silver arrows, you can't switch back to the wooden arrows. So, interesting that Leyra didn't go ahead and buy the wooden arrows while it was there.
And just go into another cave and just get the price for wooden arrows -10. And now JTB will head on over to Aegina and get the mirror. Which will put JTB right on track for place to make up on Death Mountain. If there is something on Death Mountain. I mean, this is Bombo so far in silvers and shovel.
See, now it's important to purchase those wooden arrows. I think you take a time out and you purchase those because silver arrows cost 50 rupees per arrow to fire. And yeah, it looks like we have a ton of money right now. 935 rupees. Guess what? That's like 18 shots. That's it. I mean, you can't really even finish the game with that much. So you absolutely buy the wooden arrows right now just to save yourself some money.
Well, we'll see what Leyra decides to do and what JTB's option is once it's gonna go there. Wait, JTB was at Aegina, right? And picked up the mirror.
Yeah.
So this is Swamp. Or, huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, the bow. Picking up the bow, of course.
Oh, that makes sense.
You're just going here and picking up the bow and checking this house while along the way.
Hey, we have... And he's like, oh, wait, I should probably stop and buy some keys here.
And Leyra is gonna try some hover here in Hookshot Cave.
Oh, this is... And immediately falls. And said, nope.
Yeah, hovering is pretty difficult.
JTB spends... He can no longer purchase arrows. Just under... Quake Medallion is on Turtle Rock, so the one medallion we do not have.
And we'll need to find out at some point for that crystal. We can add that to the list of items they need to find. And yeah, I was just gonna say, JTB, you're forgetting the bow, I think.
Yeah, I mean that was the reason coming down here, right?
Oh, farming. Is he farming rupees?
He's farming rupees
for the wooden arrow for 80? There we go.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that's... You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. So, GG there. Question in chat, what's different in retro mode? We've covered this a couple times. The big things are that wooden arrows cost you 20 rupees a shot. Silver arrows cost you 50 once you find them. You do have to purchase the wooden arrows to be able to use them. JTB is the first one with the bow, so it's like, oh yay, I have that. All the keys are universal. All the small keys are universal. 10 have been removed from the item pool on normal mode, but otherwise you pick up keys just like you pick up any other item that is out there, which is why we have that key item in our little inventory slot there. You can purchase keys for 100 rupees, which means keys equal money, which means you really have to watch your money management. And logically, you have access to all the small keys. So any room that you might have access to with a key, you are logically allowed access to because it's just about farming. The other thing, take any rooms, which we really haven't seen at play right at the moment, is one-way buildings and caves where there's only one entrance and one exit. could possibly have what are called a take any option, where you are given either a heart container or a blue potion refill. You need a bottle before you get a blue potion refill, so you have to take that into consideration. But we haven't really seen either of these runners check any of those locations.
Can I talk now, please?
Yes, I'm sorry.
You're welcome. So JTB making the call here to make Eastern fall back-to-back is really interesting, considering he's down to his 37 rupees, but there's still 2 more chests over here on the Bowlock side, and we'll be able to do both bosses back-to-back. But I don't know, if the rupees aren't managed, may have to opt to Boomerang Strat Armos or something.
Okay, so it's just 10 rupees for not 20 rupees. So I mixed that up, but man, he did not have enough rupees to get through those Mimic Caves for a second.
Meanwhile, Leyra is sitting on 950 rupees right now. Well, okay, never mind. Rupee shoes, they're gone. No longer exist. There's 300. It's like, you think they may be punished by something, but then the rando seed just decides that, hey, I'm just gonna work out in your favor for now.
I sincerely wish that more rando seeds were that friendly and saying, yeah, I'll ease off a little bit. Here, let's be nice. That just doesn't happen in rando.
Well, that's just the thing. Some seeds, they are very nice, but it seems like more often than not, they don't tend to be very nice. And since this is also swordless, it's per default more difficult, since they may have early boots, but you can't really dash through the enemy since you don't have the sword as pointing out and will hitting any enemy along the way. And instead, the main weapon of choice will be the hammers. JTB here continuing throughout Palace of Darkness. Leyra will now be checking out Skullwoods and will be able to, with this, find both the mail upgrade and the flippers. This will, of course, give Leyra the bow later on. And it's the only change to character actually gaining some sort of, like, hair thing on top of it. That seems weird. Now, Leyra, of course, doesn't have the fire rod, so won't be able to continue to go through the whole section of this dungeon, but we'll be able to get the 2 items here. As JTB here beginning over the Helmet Sword fight, we'll need 17 hits with the hammer to finish off the first phase. As Leyra gets the flippers, will mirror back out. JTB is just damage boosting through this Helmet Sword fight. Will take Helmet Sword down, get the 2nd crystal. 3rd dungeon completed for him. And
just a shield.
Yeah. Considering they've already skipped 1 shield. Can't remember where it was though. Shields tend to be unimportant at this level of play.
Unimportant, but still possibly logically required, depending on what we possibly need. There's Leyra seeing the bow. Very happy about that, I'm sure.
Yes, we'll go immediately into the Dark World and go pick it up as JTB heads on over into Eastern.
Even after this, though, where do we go? I mean, we don't have logical access still to a lot of things. Ice Palace is still a bust. Misery Mire, Turtle Rock, no real reason to go into any of those. Skullwoods we can't do. Swamp Palace, maybe?
Hookshot less Swamp Palace. That sounds like a fun time for the whole family.
You and I have very different definitions of fun.
Also different definitions of family.
That's fair.
Anyway, Leyra is taking a little bit of a different route here to go and collect the bow as JTB not farming rupees. Or maybe they don't respawn, I don't know. Because I believe it was JTB who did farm that room earlier.
No, chat pointing out Lyra does actually have Bombo, so Ice Palace might actually be the play. Ew.
That is still hookshot less ice. And depending on key logic, the hookshot may not be required. I have to say, that's quite rare from personal experience.
So the closest thing to the earthbound rolling HP counter you will ever see is about to happen on JTB's side. Watch how his rupees just go down.
Cost 180 rupees to kill Lear this boss, and unfortunately it's gonna cost a little bit more for that compass. I mean, that is a good question that was brought up here by chat. How does the Ice Palace key logic work in Retro? And to that, I can only say, I have no idea.
Key logic? In Retro mode, we don't care about key logic.
I mean, there's still that one key in Skull Woods, you know, that's always there.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's it. Like, that's it. That's it, really. That's the grand total of key logic in Retro mode. It's if you could possibly be soft locked, which is in that one room in Skull Woods, there will be a key there. Otherwise, you're expected to have keys anywhere you go because you have the rupees and you can farm them up.
As long as you do have all the rupees, it looks like Leyra maybe decided to spend the 480 rupees to the Sora Restoration Committee. Now, have they returned back for Sick Kid yet?
I haven't seen anyone return to Sick Kid yet. That should be interesting.
I mean, Sick Kid is locked behind a lot of stuff this season. But on the other hand, why would they go back to Kakariko? There is nothing else for them to do here, and they don't have the flute to get back there fast.
Yeah, I mean, they might check it again once they have the flute, because you have to turn the flute in. I can imagine, I mean, if Sick Kid had the flute right now, that would be one of the most out-of-the-way things that this seed could possibly do to you.
There is also that Tower of Hera basement that could be a factor here.
Well, and here's the interesting thing. JTB is coming here with keys. So we'll see if JTB ends up spending one of those keys on the Tower of Hera basement once he's through here. Lyra, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and do this Ice Palace.
Bombs on a floating island, I know that, and as you see, these medallions can only be used on these very specific markers. This is still swordless Ice Palace. It's not an easy dungeon by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I mean, it's still Red Mail Ice Palace, so you're taking less damage than you might normally be accustomed to. But you're right, this is not something that I think runners who have an option would do, especially this room. I mean, Lyra showing us probably the best way to do this particular room, but no swords, no real way to go around, even fire rodless.
No hookshot, which also one-shots the Pengators for some weird reason, as JTB is gonna take down the Moldorm. Leyra just has to dig deeper into this ice and hope that there is something here. At this point, we are looking for Fire Rod, we're looking for Hookshot, Flute, Quake.
Oh, a unique item and some cash require the big red bomb. That might actually be interesting there.
That's Swamp and Mire, so it can't be Hookshot, it can't be Flute, it can be Quake, it can be Fire Rod. The thing is, you can't even get that yet because they can't clear Swamp and they can't clear Mire.
No, that's going to be one of those things that you really have to remember. Lyra lining up this bomb jump. No sword to be able to do it, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Have to rely on the shadow. Gets through it. JTB, meanwhile, is going to show us what's in this basement. This will be really interesting because I don't know if Lyra will come back here anytime soon.
This is an extremely important location for an item that may matter, and it's not really gonna matter. You use a key to get a key. Congrats.
I mean, alright.
I mean, it's better than 20 rupees.
This is true. This is absolutely true.
Valerius keeps on pushing through Ice Palace, hoping for something to come up.
So far, nothing. JTB's doing Dark Death Mountain now. Really kind of interesting to see when this seed's going to really open up. It's just one item away at this point, and I feel like we're right on the edge of it.
I mean, the thing was they got the mirror and it opened up so much and they've gotten almost nothing from it.
There are a few mirror locations that we haven't checked. We haven't done Graveyard Ledge. We haven't done the South Grove Ledge. Yeah.
They've both been checked and there was nothing in them.
Oh. Sorry?
It's okay. It's rando. Sometimes your brain also gets randoed. I do believe that they haven't checked. Map and compass in ice, though. I mean, this ice is not being particularly kind in terms of the loot.
Has ice ever, like, particularly kind? I'm just curious if ice has ever been kind to you.
I mean, I've seen at least 2 seeds where the hammer has been in ice. I'm not sure though that is very nice, but I mean, maybe the best seeds are just when ice doesn't have anything, so you don't have to go there. Or the best seed is when ice has something. Is a good ice an ice that has something, or an ice that has nothing?
Personally, I would say a good ice is an ice that you can go mode and just kind of skip everything.
That sounds like a good idea. JTB here picked up the silvers, picked up the shovel. The shovel also didn't give anything though.
Nope. Alright, iced tea room. Maybe. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's something. That's desert access, which is fully completable. That's the green pendant.
Green pendant, I mean, I refer to the book as King Fetch Quest just because of the different items that we have access to. With the tablets unlocked now, though, we do have access to both of those in addition to everything else. So, yeah, I got to imagine. Yeah.
The pedestal is in logic.
Oh. Ooh.
That book opened up some possibilities here, since there's quite a few items that can be there. Literally anything that they're looking for right now, since they can get there. Leyra's gonna do cold stare, can then do desert, has boots, has a fire source, has the book to get in, has a glove for the back. That is 100% in logic. This could be a pet seed.
And you know, pet seeds, we hype them up, and I think chat understandably gets super hyped for pet seeds, but it's all dungeons anyway. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I agree. But people still like that pet, you know, and at this point in time, considering how little they've gotten, I wouldn't be surprised if Pedestal actually has something.
I'm with you. I would be super hyped. I don't know about you. Here's Cold Star, the Fire Rod.
Okay, well, you can do Skull Woods and then mirror check the pedestal, but of course, Cold Star with Fire Rod is the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah, I think at this point I do Desert Palace. I go up. I'll clear Skull Woods, and then I'll go ahead and pull the pen. Because you're right. There's having access to, you can only clear a handful of dungeons, but all of the pendant dungeons, something doesn't add up right now. So I'm right there with you. Lyra probably, yeah, going to go up and do the Pod Eastern combo, which it makes sense.
You have to get these done at some point, and since you're somewhat already here, Mayest as well, JTB now checking up Sick Kid, just a big heart there, not the worst, but not progression.
Lyra finally checking these one-way caves for take any locations, did not find it there. JTB heading back into the Dark World. Wonder where he's going to go. That Fire Rod is really kind of an interesting pull for Lyra. Puts Lyra into an interesting position. JTB, in the meanwhile, really has, as weird as it sounds, should get to Ice Palace.
Yeah, because Ice Palace has the book and the Fire Rod in this seed. Oh, yoy. I mean, the book may not actually be required, depending on where the flute is, in order to access Desert, but, you know, by all accounts, it looks like it is required.
Chat pointing out, it's like, you know, maybe they would rather do, since you know you have to come back to the Pod Eastern area and you have to clear Desert Palace since it's all dungeons, probably would have been a little bit more efficient to go ahead and do Desert first, then come over to Pod Eastern, because you can turn in the green pendant at the same time, get one more item location. So a little bit of routing inefficiency if Sahasrara doesn't have anything, or if Sahasrara has something, or if we eventually make our way there.
I think this may just be that Leyra thought that he was pretty much in the area already after finishing Ice Palace and could just get over there easily enough. But I agree that doing Desert and be able to hand over that green pennant, or just show the green pennant to Saswala and then do Eastern Pod, does sound like a better idea in theory. At this point, you still have to be thinking, if you're in Leyra's position here, a little bit more than 1 hour, 10 minutes in, and it's only done 3 dungeons, plus Saga 1. Still a lot to go.
Yeah, a lot still open. And the interesting thing, and I think we pointed this out earlier when we found, you know, early mitts, this is one of those seeds that just so much was open to us from the get-go. This has not been, you know, sometimes seeds are linear. In this case, the seed has not been linear in any stretch of the imagination. We've been all over the place. They have not been able to follow each other's footsteps. It's made for a really entertaining race. The problem is we have no idea who's ahead.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult to say since JTB has already done the Eastern Pod, Leyra's gonna do him now. Leyra's already done with Ice. I mean, equipment-wise, they're gonna be equal when JTB is finished here, starting off with this dreadful room, but it's extremely difficult to say at this point. But I would imagine that Desert and Skullwoods are both high on the agenda for JTB coming out of here.
We would hope so. Knowing what JTB is going to end up finding here, Desert would be high on the agenda. It'll be interesting to see where Lyra ends up also going as well as soon as they're done with the Eastern Pod combo.
So this Lyra's time here for Helmut King, 17 hits with the hammer. And there's that hint for JTB as well, knowing that there is possibly something at Pyramid Fairy. They are here finished up with Helmut King. Will be moving into Eastern Palace following this. JTB also here opting to not do the hammer jump and just do Ice Palace the intended way. If you're gonna full clear it, it's not really that much time.
No, and combine that with the fact that you already have the King of Samaria, you're probably like, I'm not going to waste it.
And Leyra's back again in Eastern. So again, hookshot, quake, flute is what we're looking for right now.
Yes. I mean, we know... The other thing to note, we don't have our logical access to Spike Cave, so if something ends up being there, if we get our either Cane of Burna or the Cape, that'll unlock for us. We also don't technically have logical access to Laser Bridge, so that's something to keep an eye out for as well. Either an invincibility item or our third shield. We know we passed one up and we got a second one, so if we find a third shield, then we'll have logical access to that Laser Bridge.
Now, in that pyramid item, if that is required, it can only be the Quake, since the flute is needed for Mire and the hookshot is needed for Swamp. So it may not be required in the first place, since there are certain other unique items like the Bug Net and the Fetch Quest that could also be there.
That's true. Absolutely true.
And the thing is also that since they can't even do the 5-6 dungeons, I don't really think it's something they're gonna think about at this moment. Right now, as JTB is gonna be able to get the book, gonna be able to get the Fire Rod, and Leyra will be done with Armos soon.
Oh, this is interesting. Armos, because Leyra never bought the woodens, is going to be using Fire Rod because does not want to spend $50 an arrow, which would result in, what, 600 rupees? Or, no, 300 rupees to get through Armos Knights.
Yeah, this is significantly slower than JTB's fight, all for the price of 80 plus rupees. This is even though JTB didn't get the quick kill set up with the regular arrows. And now is a little bit here the moment of truth for Leyra. What is his option here? Which destination will he choose?
Well, starting with the save and quit, at any rate.
I mean, that should imply Sanctuary? Or Slink's House. Where do you go? I forgot, they don't have the flute, man. Bobo's tablet?
Maybe desert. Okay. I mean, that makes sense, given that we have the book now. I might check Bombo's tablet on my way to desert, just because of the off chance that something's there.
It seems at this point Leyra just wants to prioritize the dungeons. JTB here on Cold Stare. Oh, did not get that first hammer strike in. Still did a very good job on that one puff to keep it in the wall and get many hits going. Hammer Cold Stare with no fire rod is an extremely difficult fight. He does have a fairy.
Yeah, gotta be real careful here. One heart left. Even with red mail, this could be rough.
Need a few more hits there with the hammer.
Who does it? Clutch for JTB there with that fire rod.
And boots are required for desert. Doesn't really matter. continues in desert, but we'll see where JTB is gonna go next.
Yeah, we'll see if their routes merge right now. And JTB, oh, mirror bonks, unfortunately.
You have to go a little bit more up in order to get that right. And Leyra is going to full clear this desert, get every single item here, just to not leave anything behind. And it looks like JTB is going to start with Skull Woods here, actually.
Maybe doing a Skullwoods check to immediately mirror over to see if heads anything. Although, again, since you have to clear all dungeons, I don't know why you wouldn't do desert first.
Yeah, that's definitely the interesting thing here. And then Molus has an item in desert. Doesn't really matter because Land Molus has to die anyway.
Yeah, and chat points out this is absolutely a really close race, and the odd thing is that because it's opened up so much, it's hard to do like a straight line track until we're in Aga's tower and fighting Ganon. We may not have any idea who's quote unquote in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, they had so many options earlier on and took completely different routes, and now they are kind of coming together, but they're still diverging that little diversion they can make. JTB will take out the Fire Rod and go into the depths of Skull Woods to go slay Mophila. Now, I will have to say, I do prefer Leyra's choice here to go and do Desert Palace before Skull Woods.
Question in chat, what can be on PED? Anything that we need right now. PED is in logic, so if we don't have it right now, it's entirely possible that it's on the pedestal. It could be the hook shot, it could be the flute, it could be the Quake Medallion, which we do know we need to get into Turtle Rock. It could be the bug net. It could be another big 20 because Lord knows there's lots of big 20s in this particular version.
At this point in time, it could be anything. It could be required or it could be garbage. But we will almost certainly find out in due time as Leyra is going to take down the Molus. There's the final shield.
Well, that shield is significant. That's the third logical shield, so Laser Bridge is at least in logic for that.
JTB here, swordless Mophila. It's not a fun fight at all. Still, that has the fairy that wasn't used. Mophila is just camping the spikes in that corner.
Come on, get off these spikes. I mean, Hammer Moth isn't a fun thing to do anyway, but when Mothula's not cooperating, there we go.
Oh my goodness, are we just gonna keep on getting unique items from bosses?
I'd be fine with that. That gets exciting where dungeon boss is actually giving us nice things.
So they don't have flute, so delivering that mushroom is a little bit tricky. So the fastest way is save and quit to Link's house and take the whirlpool to go to the witch. But we are going to see ATV here do the ped check right before Leyra is going to go ahead and do Mophila and likely pull the pedestal.
And what do we have? I make things go triple boom, so not worth.
Well, it could have been, but not today.
The question becomes, is Lyra going to blind pull? Because Lyra has the ability to go ahead and blind pull that right now.
I think Lyra's just going to go ahead and make the blind pull. It looks like JTB is going to make the swamp call. Or bombos into desert, one or the other. Or just, I mean, they're not delivering in the mushroom, so...
Mushroom is one of those things that you probably want to wait until you have the flute for, so you can kind of just quick drop off. However, if the witch has the flute, then it can cause some havoc.
Yeah, but it's still not the worst of times. We'll start off here with bombos.
Hearts from the sky. All right. I mean, that's fine.
Yes, JTB is making the bombos tablet in the desert that we mentioned earlier about Leyra. Since they're both on Eastern Pod, they still don't have the flute. Sahasrahla has the flute. I mean, it could take some time before they head on over there. I mean, at this point, this seed is just in wild speculation mode, especially about that item at the Pyramid Ferry.
Yep, we know there's a unique item there from a hint earlier that we had, but wild speculation mode are those are the fun seeds, I think, to commentate myself.
I mean, the thing is, they need 3 unique items, and the only way they can get that unique item is if they have the other 2. Hookshot and Flute are the 2 that they need to get to the Pyramid Ferry, and then there's the Quake that they need finally to get into Turtle Rock.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to turn in the mushroom, and then it feels like a hook-shotless swamp is what we have to do right now?
Yeah, unless the mushroom is the hookshot, I don't really know what else there is. They still don't have an vulnerability item for Spike Cave. They do have that fairy in a bottle, so I guess they can sequence break it.
Well, logically, we do have access to the laser bridge, or for Spike Cave. Yeah. There's no good choices here. That's the problem.
And the only hint doesn't really give anything right now. And I think Leyra is going to do the...
Leyra is chat's hero right now. Blind ped pull just for triple bombs.
1 bomb for each pendant.
And leaves a bomb. It's like, oh, I want a charity tournament. I'm just going to leave what you gave me because it's funny.
But Leyra is not going to Sahasrahla. It'll be continuing here in Desert. I mean, if this is the call you're gonna make, Leyra, this looks like Bombo's tablet into Swamp to me.
Yeah, it looks like a swamp play to me. Although I'm really interested to see what Sahasrahla has. Both runners have already completed their Pod Eastern combo, so there's no real reason to go over there except to turn that green pendant in.
Can you imagine Hookshot in left side Swamp?
Yes, I have nightmares about that at least once a month.
I'm sorry to hear that. Well, it could just be something else and instead they have to double dip Swamp by the logic. Or Swamp has literally nothing and it's the mushroom. Or Sahasrahla.
Chad asks, is lunchbox dead? Yeah, the purple chest is dead. We got a hint that says it was garbage, so.
Progression waiting room, entering Swamp.
All right, JTB finishing up Desert. We'll see where he ends up going. Leyra, meanwhile, going to Swamp. We'll see. I mean, one has 5 options. One is a lower percent, but at least is further down the chain. This is going to be fun.
I mean, these calls are all very risky. Gonna start here with the hint. Thanks.
Compass requires the ham. Thanks, game.
Yeah, but which compass is it?
All of them. Any dungeon that's yeah. Okay, Lyra or JTB looks like is also going to be doing the swamp play, so they are within just a minute or so of each other. This is getting exciting, converging on Swamp Palace here.
Yeah, they're both gonna try and make the same call. There's the big key. Okay, well, let's gonna open up that big chest.
So the question becomes, if you find something like the flute for progression, do you, early, in like these next couple chests, do you still do left side thinking that there might be something else on those other two chests, or do you dip out?
I mean, I think if you get the hook shot, you go through, but if you get Quake or Flute, I think you just leave and do those dungeons instead, and then you come back in here later. But I don't really think there's a right call there. And they don't have to worry about that little key though over on the left side, since this is retro.
Oh yeah, you can flood the key. In fact, flooding the key is probably one of the nice things that you can do in retro. It's like, I'll sacrifice 100 rupes for that. I'm fine with it.
Well, the compass was in the big chest. That's hammerlocked.
It was talking about that one.
Yes,
just
of course.
That one.
A hint in swamp for something in swamp. And that's another sword.
Hey, we finally have Master Sword. Kinda.
Well, does left side swamp have something?
So taking a quick look while we're heading our way back to left side swamp, Leyra is currently in second place in this group at a 6-4 record. JTB is at a 4-4 record. They are very, very close in this group. This has been wildly competitive in this group stage here. So both of these runners really need a win to keep their hopes alive and to keep pace with the rest of the pack here in this group. Again, Leyra is currently in second place, which is, where you want to be, but you'd like to be in first.
Yes, it's the top two that does go through. JTB is also tied with BD Solsky in the group, also at 4-4, and leading the group is Activocker at 6 wins, 1 loss. And I do note, because of how the system works, every win gives you 1 point, so that's really the only that matters. So at this point, Leyra and Act, they both have 6 points, but the fact is, Leyra has played 3 more games than Act to get that many points.
Yeah, less opportunities. So the same number of losses between these two runners. Leyra does have 2 more games and 2 more wins over JTB. So winner of this one really effectively moves into second place with the most wins.
Indeed. So these matches are very important here. So this time here for this left side swamp, the first fall for, well,
drum roll. It's now a coin flip. Is it in Swamp Palace, or is it the mushroom, or is it somewhere else that we don't know?
Sahasrara.
Sahasrara, yep.
I mean, this is a true goose chase at this point in time. It's a very long extended drum roll that will result in... Oh my goodness, we're... Well, at least they both made that same mistake. Error, but I can't really blame them for doing that.
No, it was the high percent play. I think that's what you absolutely have to do in this particular situation. Make the high percent gamble.
And Leyra is the one who hasn't checked Catfish.
Oh boy. But Leyra will be able to turn the mushroom in on the way to checking the Catfish, so it'll be a little bit more of an efficient check.
Yeah, I mean, it could be this check here. I mean, I can't think of anything other than this and Sahasrara at this point. We're past 1.5 hours, and this seed is extremely rough for both our players.
Oh my goodness. Do you want to do a fetch quest? Yes, we do. There's the flute.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were the one who called that.
I may have implied it at some point, yes.
Well, here's the thing. That opens up Meyer Shed, Checkerboard Cave, and Mr. Meyer. It's not a whole lot of locations, but there has to be something there. Unless the Sahaswara has something, because JTB is going to go and check out Sahaswara. I would imagine if Sahaswara has something else.
Oh, that would be amazing. Lyra then will probably save and quit to be able to go back to Sanctuary to be able to do this flute. Keep in mind, you know, if we haven't seen Misery Meyer yet. If that ends up also being
There's no shot!
Quake. Wait, what?
No shot for Sahaswara!
Oh my god!
What's going on in this seed? What's going on?
Magic. Marge. Magic is what's going on.
I have no idea what's going on anymore. I mean, Leyra is just gonna activate the flute. JTB is gonna go back into swamp. I mean, now it's possible actually. Quake can be a Pyramid Fairy.
Yes, it can. Oh, it'll be super interesting if nothing ends up coming from this. I mean, we do need the duck to get to Misery Meyer regardless, but keep in mind, Quake Medallion is still out there. So if Misery Meyer is Quake to unlock, then we're right back where we started.
This is so wild at this point in time. I mean, JTB can do Swamp, can just mirror immediately and take the teleporter and head on over to the Witch and deliver that in. As Leyra gets the 1 frame dash in the Meyer Shed.
And it's Ether Medallion, so we can absolutely go ahead and clear Misery Meyer. Meyer is much more valuable in retro mode because of all those treasure chests that normally contain keys. They're free. Absolutely free. So there's a lot of treasures that we can possibly get here.
I mean, all of that, and then in the end, they get 1 item each. Leyra wants those rupees.
Heck yeah, that's 6 silver shots. That, I mean, if you're getting ready to do Vitreous, yeah, you want money.
Well, I mean, Leyra has no other call here, just go into Meyer, hope that there is something else there.
Yeah, chat points out, again, Lyra never bought the wooden arrows, so while there's a glitch, if you haven't purchased the arrows, you can still fire arrows. As soon as you get the silvers, that's your only option. You have to buy the woodens to be able to use woodens again. So in a really interesting spot, Leyra is getting ready to spend a ton of cash here on Vitreous if they opt to go ahead and use arrows. Otherwise, it's going to be a really interesting fight.
I mean, second bottle, if you want that really close race, you want that Quake to be at Pyramid Fairy, because that's where both players are going to end up going in the end. And it's such a crazy seed. I still can't truly wrap my head around it.
Early mitts. I mean, whenever you have early mitts, it always leads to a crazy seed. Meanwhile, JTB showing us hammer strats on Argus. This is menu boss.
Yeah, this is a really slow fight without swords. ₹20 first off in Meyer. JTB doing the best here to go and get doubles on the R guy.
Leyra got to be careful here. 2 hearts.
JTB only with the final R guy there, and taking out the ice rod over the fire rod.
I mean, that's just swag at that point in time.
I mean, that was a really sweet kill for 20 rupees. So, I mean, JTB, I think you only have one choice now.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, we got the hook shot. Oh no, there's hookshot cave that we only ever got one too.
Yeah, you're right. There's hookshot cave. But I mean, if he would go there, he would have saved and quit at this point. Oh no, he's saving and quitting.
Yeah, you got to save and quit in the light world because we have defeated Aghanim and we do have the mirror.
Yeah.
So saving and quitting in the dark world just takes us to the pyramid, and it's worthless.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he's going up here to Hookshot Cave. Lyra, meanwhile, has not found anything yet. Oh, this is super interesting. Generic key is Fire Rocked and Hera. Thanks, game.
Vanilla Vicky and Meyer. Still a few more locations here to check in Myers. A pretty long dungeon. I mean, the Ether Tablet. Yeah, they haven't checked the Ether Tablet either. Completely forgot about that.
Just a small key. Again, the one item we are missing for no mode here is going to be this Quake medallion, because that's what we need to get into Turtle Rock.
Oh, and Leyra, yeah, bonked the wall, and that means you can't make it.
Bonk. Oops.
Have to reset the room and try again. You can see how close that timing is.
Yeah, I don't know if it's intended in the vanilla game to be able to do that kind of tight window. I mean, you can. Just another bottle.
I mean, I don't think you're gonna say no, even though you're sitting on 16 hearts on red mail.
Yep. Okay, so here's the hook shots. Okay, piece of hearts. Small key. Oh my god!
Of course, the medallion for Turtle Rock is located right next to Turtle Rock, and we've been bamboozled by that pyramid fairy this entire seed.
Can you imagine Lyra, when they were there earlier, tried to hover, didn't quite get through, if they had managed to complete that hover, where this race would be right now?
Oh man. But here's the thing. What does this mean for our players? It means that JTB is going to have a guaranteed go mode mire with the worst possible big key location.
With the worst possible big key location, and is also unique item is in Ganon. Thanks, game. Also, the flute being where it is, like, it might be a while before we see that flute on JTB side. At the same time, Lyra is set up right now to where, nothing in terms of progression is going to be here on Vitreous, so Lyra's going to have to do whatever it takes to... Oh, so much money spent.
I mean, just throw it all away at some ice. So JTB did find the bug net, which is actually easier to use than the hammer when it comes to the Aga fights.
True. So Lyra, at this point in time, realizes there's still something else out there. Will likely be going in and turning in that green pendant, because there's not much else for Lyra to do. Honestly, I think I would rather be in Lyra's position right now.
Lyra still has locations left to check. which just didn't they check? They did a cutscene.
Yeah, I did the cutscene. We all saw it.
Oh, we have to wait and see. I mean, the thing is still that Leyra's gonna have some potential rupee issues coming up, so and that change jump is a potential issue for JTB here. A big issue.
Oh, it's doing. Oh, ooh. Fairy, yeah, but man, you don't necessarily want to have to use that fairy there.
Of course not, but if you have to, then you have to. Is this the chest? Leyra skipped this chest? I've never seen that be skipped before.
Neither have I, really.
I mean, it's a weird seed, so I guess you gotta make some weird calls. You have to be here, just catching another fairy.
Alright, Leyra, where do you go? Going up. Oh.
Ether tablet.
Ether tablet.
And this is good for JTB, but, you know, I mean, it is so close still.
Oh, maybe also going to be doing Spike Cave, although that's not in logic right now.
Yeah, there is that.
Like when you're looking for something in logic, your last go mode item, you kind of stick to anything that's in logic because otherwise it's not necessarily a good check.
So there's a unique item at Pyramid Fairy, correct?
There is a unique item, yes.
And there's a unique item in Ganon's Tower.
Oh.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Burma and Magic Cape are the only unique items left, right? There is no single arrow in this mode.
There's no single arrow. The other unique item that we might be seeing is half magic that we haven't seen.
Oh yeah, half magic as well. So it's those three. But yeah, Leyra is going to go through Spy Cave here. This is a sequence break. Now this Mimic Cave is something that Leyra will be able to skip. But if this is half magic, obviously very good.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great thing. But neither checks here end up being worthwhile.
Wait a moment here. No, actually, it doesn't matter. I was thinking about that one chest in Mire that requires you to have either the Cane of Burn or Magic Cape by logic, but it wasn't anything important, so.
It looks like Leyra is on their way over here to turn in the green pendant. This is actually going to put Leyra on the right path.
Yeah, we know this is the right call to make, and may even be the last location that Leyra can check here.
But it's still going to end up being tight because Leyra will still have to find the Quake medallion.
Yeah, and they're most likely going to go ahead and do Swamp first, and may even opt to do the Pyramid Fairy, especially because there is a unique item at Pyramid Fairy, and Leyra knows that there is a unique item there.
Yeah, so do Swamp. I mean, finish Swamp, do the Pyramid Fairy, get disappointed, probably with either an invincibility item or half magic, and then go up and do Turtle Rock. Hope they remember that they didn't complete the hover and get that Quake medallion.
Yeah, I mean, this is truly a seed. Oh, the third sword. Technically, the third sword is swordless after all. I mean, JTB is not going to have any rupee problems, though. The issue is for Leyra because only silvers, and I mean, can only fire 7 of them at this point in time.
Yeah, that's going to be a significant issue for Lyra, especially when you start talking about the climb to Ganon's tower and all those Igors, and just arrows are your most efficient weapon to get through the gauntlet. That could play into some bad news for Lyra. We'll see what ends up happening. Meanwhile, JTB going to show us Hammer Trinex, which is, I would say, not a fun fight.
Yeah, this is a really rough fight with all the menu you have to do, and you also can't open your menu when there are explosions on the screen, so I had to wait there in order to bring out the fire rod. There we go, phase 1 is done.
Very nicely done there by JTB. That can be a really rough phase for an inexperienced runner, but shows how a pro does it.
And Hammer Trinex, you can tell JTB has done that before. I mean, it's a full heart refill there. It's not the worst item you can get from Trinex. Obviously, in JTB's position, you're hoping for the flute, but we know it's not the flute.
So the only place JTB has left to check is going to be, I think, that mushroom turn-in, which is the flute. That'll allow JTB to be in go mode first, I think, technically. And it's going to be super interesting because JTB will have to do Misery Mire and then make another climb up Death Mountain. Lyra will eventually end up having to do the climb, and then finding everything on Death Mountain means that I would assume Lyra is going to be at least the first one into Ganon's tower, unless something crazy happens.
I mean, this is extremely difficult to call, and I'm not sure if this route is faster with the boots. I know without boots, taking the Whirlpool is faster, but I don't know, maybe this is faster with the boots. I mean,
Yeah.
JTB is also going to be able to take this moment and potentially buy a potion if he so desires. I feel like he does have the rupees to do that.
I don't know, because rupees being as valuable as they are, I still don't know if he necessarily do that. He's going to save and quit. Oh, he is going to, but no empty bottles. Yeah, JTB still has to do Misery Mire, which he will be able to. I mean, he'll be in go mode right now, and he can just go as fast as he can. The problem is that the big key is in the very back. Lyra is not yet in go mode. Still has to find the Quake Medallion. Not a whole lot of other places to check for Lyra, though, except for the Hookshot Cave, which is right on their way up to Turtle Rock, which will be Lyra's go mode. It's so close right now. I have a hard time saying who's in the lead.
Yeah, I think it's completely impossible at this point, and it may just depend on Lyra here. Yeah, this looks like Pyramid Fairy to me. And this is... I mean, you have that hint. You know there's a unique item there. We know it's not there, but I think everyone would make this call here.
Oh yeah, especially when you have the hint that says, yes, unique item here, and there are, as far as you know, only 4 unique items or 5 that are unique items that are still out there. You take this gamble, absolutely.
I mean, I wouldn't even say this is a gamble here from Lyra. I think this is just the standard right way to play in this situation. Because it's right here. I mean, if it's in Hookshot Cave, I mean, sure, you go straight in, but if it's not in Hookshot Cave, then you miss this opportunity to go and do it, and you have the hint. And there are not that many unique items left.
Yeah. It's the smart play, it's just not the right play. And that's the unique thing about Rando. The smart play isn't always the right play, and that's just the nature of Rando and why we love it so much.
I mean, we both here, we've been bamboozled by this unique item that is half magic. I mean, it's a really useful and helpful item, but it's not what Leyra is looking for. And that looks like a mirror bonk? Wow, that's not a mirror bonk. I thought for sure that was a mirror bonk.
Yeah, so did I. That looked weird. All right, Lyra, on their way up to do the hook shot cave. Only real place left to check. I mean, we're getting close to almost a 200 item check. Oh,
that's extremely unfortunate, but okay, you just gotta keep on going. We'll see how long JTB is gonna delay the cutscene chest here, which we know it's a vanilla big key here. It's over here on left side, but we have seen players decide to just check the top location and then just leave. Also, this magic usage here, JTB, is clutching it out. Oh, JTB is leaving!
No! Big key is other way! Oh!
I mean, this race is... Just every movement the players make is... Oh, man, my heart.
There's Lyra says, yes, fine, I'll buy the wooden arrows. Got real tired of spending, let me see, that was 8 eyeballs plus 2 more hits, so that's a total of 10, so 500 rupees on Lyra's Misery Mire Vitreous kill. Yeah, that was rough.
I'm seeing some people in chat mentioning JTB doesn't have any magic. There's a full magic refill in the room that you climb up the stairs in order to get into the torches. So yeah, absolutely. And it looks like JTB is going to go back over there now. Leyra will soon be in Turtle Rock. Needs to get that first one. There you go. There's the full magic refill. And Leyra will now be in go mode.
Leyra absolutely happy to be in that go mode as well.
I mean, 1 hour, 57 minute go mode. That's extremely late.
Yeah, what do you think these runners' feelings are towards retro swordless mode right now?
I mean, I don't think they are particularly big fans of this seed because one skipped Mushroom for a long time, the other one skipped it for even longer, and same thing with Sahasralite. I think they both think that they're quite far behind at this point and may even be surprised that the other player haven't finished yet.
Yeah, I think, right at about the 145 mark, I start looking over to the side. Like, is my opponent done yet? Neither done yet. They are both in just a heck of a seed.
And it's still really hard to tell who's ahead. I mean, I would have to give it a slight to JTB because I feel like he's going to be able to be in Ganon's tower first because he's soon going to be done with this dungeon. I don't know. This is too tough to call in. This is still swordless, so anything can happen in Ganon's tower, and anything can happen here against Ganon as well. You see JTB here setting up the spooky action glitch.
Meanwhile, Lyra's going through here. Oh man, this is going to be so close. Strap in, guys. We will be doing a special little thing as soon as we have our final crystal.
Yeah, well, the final crystal will soon be acquired as JTB is spending a lot of rupees here on this Vitreous fight, opting to take this fight slower by not using silvers.
Well, you have to start worrying about money management. Oh no! But I think he's got a fairy.
He took a new fairy when he was up on Turtle Rock. Oh, Leyra, go back. This is too much. And JTB still has to be careful here down on 7 hearts, and even with red mail, Vitreous hits hard.
Oh, there it is. And JTB will be the first one to have all 7 crystals, all 3 pendants, and AGA 1 down. So we are on our way at exactly 2 hours. We are on our way to Ganon's Tower. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you know what that means. It means there are 22 treasure chests in Ganon's Tower that can possibly contain the Ganon's Tower Big Key. If you are a subscriber or supporter to any of the Speed Gaming network of channels, you can be entered into our leaderboard 1 through 22. Go ahead and get your guesses in. Marjevich, sir, what's going to be your guess?
Well, as we see Yates here picking up a final blue potion before going there, I mean, I think everyone who knows me at this point knows how much I just want Bob to die, so put it on torch.
Put it on the torch.
I know that's not a number, but most of the times it's gonna be 7, and sometimes it's 3. It's very rare for it to not be either of those. But I don't know, I mean, 2 hours entering Ganon's Tower, I mean, you may just decide to do some real wacky route here.
I mean, if you're worried about losing, yeah, you might be doing something a little bit wacky. I'm going to go with number 9, just because I haven't guessed right yet this entire tournament, so might as well. JTB picking up at least 1 key here. Has 3 keys set for Ganon's Tower right now. Looks like going to be buying a 4th, actually. Now we need to start worrying about rupees, because it is going to be 4 silvers for Ganon. That's 200. You're sitting at 300 rupees right now, plus you're going to have to get through all the Igors. JTB's in an interesting rupee situation. Lyra's in an even rougher spot in terms of rupees right now.
You will need to kill 4 of them, so with regular arrows, that's 80 rupees, so JTB has enough, but there's not much to spare. Now do correct me if I'm wrong, but all the regular arrow pickups from pots and stuff have all been replaced by 5 rupees.
The arrows, yes, they've been replaced with money.
Yeah, so there's still some possibility to be able to pick up some rupees here. But, you know, JTB is first to enter. What a seed we had, what a race as JTB enters the finale.
Alright. We have entered Ganon's Tower, so your guesses are locked in. I think that's our last sword right there. The 20 rupees.
Our 4th and final sword in Ganon's Tower.
Alright, so go ahead and doing full right side first. Lyra, not that far behind.
I mean, if this is on left side and Lyra decides to go left side first, be able to gain some time there. So of course, you have to be skipping tile room, as basically everyone does.
I mean, if it's tile room, then everyone's going to get it wrong. Meanwhile, JTB is going to show us number 3 is a map. Number 4 is a key. That's always nice. 5 is some roots. 6 is that heart piece.
And this could be very interesting if Lyra decides to take the other route. Still going to be behind here, but not by as much.
Now, Bob lives as just a heart piece on that torch spot.
One day, Bob. One day. But the seed must go on. Still just waiting here.
7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Lyra now entering. We'll see left or right. It's gonna be right.
Okay, more rupees. We're starting to get a little bit safer into our rupee counts here for once we get to Ganon.
Leyra is going left, did not go full right, doing the old school standard strat.
Oh, that's going to be good news for Leyra. We think it's going to be this way.
I mean, the only way for this to be punished is if it's in tile room. Leyra here sitting on 18 heart containers with red mail, just, I mean, almost can't die.
All right, so that was number 13. We have 14, 15, 16, and 17 coming up here in Rando Room.
And not that many locations left to check here. Well, final bottle has been found.
Oh, wow. This is very deep in Ganon's Tower. We're looking at this. Got to be over 200 item collection count. We've opened everything.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely very significant number. Maybe one of the highest we've had this tournament. I don't have the numbers on that, but I wouldn't be surprised. And we're just going deeper.
So ice Armos required. That's going to put even greater pressure on that arrow count that we were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. We may actually see some secondary strategies there. And Leyra has a little bit of an edge there with that half magic for Fire Rod spam. Unless it is, in fact, in this one chest here. And it is not.
This is super close. Leyra might be in a better shape. Okay. Oh, JTB's keeping the silvers on. Says time is more important than money. Time is money, friend.
300. It's down to... That's not going to be enough money. Need to get 58 more for Ganon. Well, there's the unique item. And there's the big key.
And number 20 is the big key. Oh, we'll see what Leyra ends up doing. JTB does not have the money to defeat Ganon right now.
I mean, Leyra can use the regular arrows, but even then you will need additional rupees to even get through these next two rooms here. I mean, man, I have no idea.
This is something that you might kill a few extra enemies. You're going to collect everything that drops. We do know that the stun prize is actually a magic refill. There's some 20. Leyra is using Fire Rod strats.
JTB here even misses an arrow down to 73.
Oh my god!
It's huge. It's 10 rupees just wasted.
Leyra, meanwhile, is using hammer strats on Ice Armos. Used all the magic and says, no, I need to save my money. This is part of retro mode, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be well aware of where your rupees are before you climb Ganon's Tower, because there aren't a whole lot of opportunities to get them on your way up.
I think Leyra may decide to use the bow for the final one. Yeah. This is enough rupees.
Yes, this is exactly where you want to be.
JTB is picking up these fivers that he finds under pots, and a fiver there from the drop as well, trying to find everything he can.
He's checking all of them.
I don't even know what's under these pots, because they're basically never checked for rupees, but he's sitting on 99, he needs 101 more. He gets another 5. I can't believe we're counting rupees in Ganon's Tower!
I can absolutely believe we're counting rupees in Ganon's Tower. This is retro mode.
He gets the big 20 drop. He's up to 124. He's 76 more. He's gonna have to use Fire Rod strats on that Molus as well.
How big is that half magic right now for Leyra?
Leyra misses an arrow, but will still have enough. JTB also here down to use 2 hearts. Has to pick up that fairy there.
Oh, chat reminding me, remember when we got some hints that some cash is in Ganon's Tower?
Oh no, you That's just rude at this point. JTB is gonna be opening up all of these here as well. I think there's like 5 here in that one. It's supposed to be arrows normally. You need 71 more though.
Every chest, every pot that he overturns is just a little bit more. He needs 70 more rupees. He's like, yeah, I gotta kill stuff.
I can't believe this is happening. Or you didn't get that triple kill there with the cane either. And that's not fair. I mean, it's nice, but you need rupees. And Leyra is just clearing everything quickly, not caring about the rupees. Somewhat caring. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but sure. You can even see JTB just kills an enemy and then just goes back to the loot and then sees that the loot is wrong and then leaves. He's just hoping that something will give those rupees. Need 50 more.
Oh, this half magic is really doing a lot of work for Leyra here. Oh my god, so magic refill for JTB, so he's alright. 50 more rupees.
Few more chests here coming up, and if any of them have just a few rupees, maybe extremely important here, he's gonna have to kill the enemies as well. Oh no, not bombs, not bombs, not bombs. No, I can't believe I'm saying no to a heart container.
How many extra keys did JTB end up buying? Knowing your key counts that you need in Ganon's tower is significant.
Oh, this is also because Ice Armors was required here, and he has decided that I'm just gonna go and kill that boss fast. There's 20, needs 25.
Another 25! Oh my god!
There's one more chest! Is it vanilla? If it's vanilla in the last chest, he's got it! But first he has to kill Moldorm. Will Moldorm bless JTB with a vanilla final chest in this seed?
Oh my god! Okay. The drama! The drama! JTB, what do you have for us?
It's going to be... It's the vanilla 20 rupees for JTB! He's got enough for the 4 silver arrows on the Ganon fight!
He cannot miss a single shot, though.
This is unbelievable! This conclusion to this race! The Leyra is still not far behind, this race is still not over, and remember, this is Aga 2 without sword. You have to opt for the bug net here, it's the best tool you got.
Both runners have the bug net, so interesting shot here. Okay, I think that was a double for JTB.
It looked like a double to me as well. We just have to wait and see. Oh, unfortunate blue ball.
Leyra right on JTB's tail right at the moment.
Need a few more connections here. Oh, he misses, but he gets the final one and will move on to the Ganon fight.
Still, a lot can happen here. I mean, we're talking a single arrow miss from JTB. I mean, he'll have to go and farm rupees at that point in time. He's got to be super careful right now. Leyra, meanwhile, on Haga, this is going to be a photo finish here, guys.
I mean, you can do hammer to try and hit the Ganon, but the window is so slim. Just gonna drop down and whatever, Ganon. We don't care. We don't care.
We don't care. Let's just hurry up and do this. Yep, hammer can damage Ganon. So hammer Ganon is something that if you're ever running a swordless, you practice. He's got a nice setup here.
Oh, that one shot from Leyra was so good. I don't know why he's using the hammer instead of the bug net though. But it will get him down. JTB in phase 2. Really nice setup here.
Yeah, I think he's moving on to phase 3 easily here. Oh, this is coming down.
I mean, if JTB misses a single shot here, Leyra has a great chance to take home this race, but I mean, it's all in JTB's hands. Here we go, it's time.
Did you find the arrows? Yes, we did. Okay.
Oh, he's not gonna shoot.
He's not gonna shoot. He's saving it. He goes, nah, bro. We're gonna make this. You gotta be really careful.
And just one. I mean, will you even attempt to get a double or anything at this point in time? Maybe you just go for 4 singles just to be sure.
Yeah, you go for singles at this point in time.
Oh, will you shoot? Will you shoot?
Okay, there's 3! There's 3! Oh my god!
How did that connect? I didn't think that was gonna connect. What?
That's 4!
What? What?
What happened there? That was 4!
Yeah, that looked like 4 to me as well. How
did
I miss?
Did that third shot not count?
Well, I don't know.
Wait, what?
It looked like the third counted. He was pushed back. I don't know what's going on, but Leyra is in a fantastic position.
Oh my god, Liz! Oh my goodness!
Trying to find rupees. Mira and Leyra is just getting all the kills in. What in the world? We've been bamboozled again!
What is this? What is this?
I can't believe this ending that Leyra is going to win!
Oh my god, Leyra!
Just
got across the spread. That is heartbreaking. Oh my gosh. And GG to Leyra. Oh man.
And JTB has forfeit from the race. I don't blame him. Wow.
I'd be salty right now. GG to Leyra though, first place, 2:16:30 official time. Oh my god. Let's see if we can get either of these runners in to chat with us. I don't know if I would be comfortable talking at this point in time. Oh my god. Leyra, it all came down to the rupees. Retro mode rupees are so important. Let's see if we can get our folks in here.
I'm just completely blown away. I don't know what to say, but I guess I can say hello, Leyra. Congratulations, man.
Hey, thanks. That was something, huh?
Oh, also joining us, JTB. Man, that was the hypest final 30 minutes I think we've ever seen in any race for the tournament.
Oh, what a sad ending to those 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. This is so dumb. Not to mention, Retro is a terrible game mode.
Preach, like, I'm never playing this dumb mode ever again.
Yeah, every other third match I banned Retro, and this time I decided to ban Key Sanity. Of course it rolls Retro.
So did you, I know you guys finished the race about 20 minutes ago, so you're just popping in. Were you guys watching how close the ending there was?
Yeah, I was kind of curious where, like, we both entered GT near the end. I figured we would both be around the same time, just given, like, how, like, every item was last location for both of us. And I knew it was going to be a close match.
Yeah, not lost on me, aside from the fact that I'm not a fan of Retro, is that seed was just brutal. Last location, I think, Mirror, Quake, Hookshot, and, like, kind of Flute, too. It was pretty rough. It was a tough seed.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't kind to either of you, and you both kind of converged right around your first dip into Swamp, and then I think it was JTB ended up turning in the green pendant, found the hook shot, so we got hyped there. Leyra, you ended up turning in the mushroom and got the flute, so we're just, it's back to being crazy open again.
Yeah, I can't believe that's how that ridiculousness ended. I feel so bad for poor JTB. That was so dumb.
Yeah, don't worry. If the stream is still going, I pull up the play-by-play on that to really kind of figure out what the heck even happened.
Yeah, I guess when you relight the torches after he's blue, he like, it's like a half frozen invulnerable state or something. Just one of those silly LTTP bugs.
Well, I think that's going to be a lesson for everyone who does Ganon fights. Just hit them with your bow and light them later, because that was it. I mean, I thought you had him down. 4 hits, you had just the amount of rupees. How nervous, JTB, were you climbing Ganon's tower there for your rupee counts and seeing that last 20 after Moldorm?
I was definitely panicking a bit because, like, I'm not that great at
so funny.
retro. Oh, there we go. Here. Oh wait, this is the wrong one that I'm playing up. Okay. Yeah, I don't know key counts that well for retro, because I mean, who actually spends time playing retro? And like, I feel like I would rather play inverted key sanity swordless instead. But I played it a little bit safe, grabbing too many keys, and then of course Isarmos is like, all right, I'm gonna take all your money as well. So I was like, all right, I just gotta farm as much as I can and just hope for that bailout, because I got that bailout on my last retro race. So I was like, all right, I'll go for the 2-0 on that, and it worked out.
So I see you're showing us kind of a instant replay here. You were super nervous going through that Ganon fight. You're like, man, I can't miss a single shot. You even let him go a phase there without taking a hit.
Yeah, I knew I could not go for any doubles at all. I just wanted to go for those hits I knew I would be able to get, which I thought was going to be that third one, but lesson learned, I guess.
On the flip side, Lyra, you ended up finding half magic after doing the big bomb. And that half magic helped carry you through Ganon's tower, doing things like Ice Armos that may have took you a little bit longer, but you had the magic to be able to go through it, so you didn't have to spend that money on arrows anywhere else, right?
Yeah, that actually worked out kind of well. Honestly, the half magic was a tease, because I had that hint from like forever ago that Big Bomb had a unique item, and I was like, well, odds are really good that's Quake after doing Swamp, right? And I was like, oh, this is probably Quake, and I'll be good to go. No, well, it wasn't. So at the time, I was pretty unhappy. But as I went up GT and I realized Ice Armos is going to be required, which, by the way, in retro is really, really brutal. I was like, well, at least I can blast a bunch of these guys with the Fire Rod, and it'll help a little bit. But
okay, JTB, you're showing us right now the replay on there, and it looks like it does damage. It sticks in him. He flashes. He gets knocked back.
Yeah, I don't get it.
We all thought that was a sure hit and that this was going to be your kill after that fourth connected.
Oh, that feels bad. Think Dorm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dorm.
It's whatever. It'll just be disappointing if I miss bracket because of that, but at this point, it's just like, whatever.
Oh my goodness. So, I mean, at this point, Lyra, that puts you at 7-4 now. So you're still, I think, behind in the percentages in terms of behind AK, but you have the most wins in the group. How are you both feeling right now in terms of where you're at in the group stages and what's to come yet?
I got a race tomorrow with Solski. I'll tell you after that one. Because that's kind of like probably a deciding factor for how well I do, I think, because that'll put me in good shape. But if I lose to him, I'm gonna be in tough shape. So we'll see. It's been fun.
Yeah, all our group has been really close to each other. So yeah, I think it may be you and AK that move on. But like I said, just like a loss or here and there could definitely shake things up.
Yeah, full show. I feel like I'm in okay shape, but I haven't felt comfortable against anybody in terms of, oh yeah, I feel like I should beat this person. All of the races with everybody have been so good that it's just like anything can happen. So
absolutely. Well, any closing thoughts, I guess, for either of you guys, or just you gotta go delete this seed and burn your hard drive so it doesn't infect the rest of your computers?
Well, I got another swordless in like 2 hours, so I know if I get in this situation, then I will not be doing that same thing. But no, thanks for for putting on the commentary. I really liked the hype behind the GT climb, so I'm glad you guys actually got like a good show out of it. And just thanks to everyone, just putting this on.
Yeah, thanks guys. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad it was a fun race to watch, and hopefully you guys have fun commentating and appreciate it. It was a good time. Retro stinks.
Retro stinks.
Well, we do our job because you do your job. That's what allows us to do this, so thank you so very much, both of you today, LeyraGG and JTB, and best of luck in your upcoming races. Also like to thank our tracker, Mind of Me, for helping out behind the scenes. And if you're right now tuning to Speed Gaming 5, you'll be seeing that we have a game there, Verlaine versus Kern, so just head on over there, as you also go along and follow all of our Twitch channels at Speed Gaming 1 through 6 and ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 5. But all said and done, I've been Marjevich.
And I'm Vitasia.
And we hope to see you all in the not too distant future, preferably on Speed Gaming 5 in about 10 seconds.